Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Legacy Challenge here at Grey Ogre Games. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts alongside just Ben. I still haven't approached your brother for your,
Yeah.
for your
You're
Chinese
lagging
name.
on that front.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm okay. Pretty excited to have all these people and this many legacy players in our store.
All these.
Yeah. And so you see Powerade keeping his hand. He's on Rug Delver, I believe. Something that hasn't really been
It hasn't been a thing for
It's
quite
kind
a
of been
while.
outmoded by the go white strategy, which is what Alfred Wong is playing today. He's playing Grixis, and just in general quite weak to cards like True Name Nemesis, which Alfred also has in his deck.
Oh, yeah.
So these are the key cards that I see in this matchup: Young Pyromancer, True Name Nemesis, and the fact that he has access to Deathrite Shaman means that he'll be able to keep Powerad's threshold creatures and Tamagoys in check.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And Alfred, I think not on camera for our modern, but also a modern player. So
yeah.
a lot of players like to choose Delver decks because it's very similar to what they're used to in some other format.
Yeah,
You know?
Delver, I think, well, it's not very straightforward, but I think the premise of it, or the goal of it, is just to reduce your opponent's life total to 0 as fast as possible.
That's all magic though, right?
Yeah, it is all magic.
So
Delver being like the key card. very powerful
Albert
card.
keeping, I think, on 6.
Yeah.
And this matchup is often defined by mana problems. So you will find a lot of wasting back and forth, and so
trying
Albert
to-
keeping a 1 land hand is kind of sketchy in that regard.
Both decks running a total of, what is it? So 18 lands
18 versus
on 18
probably-
versus 18 lands.
Yeah.
We don't see any. Oh, okay. There's wastelands
It's
on
usually a full
Powerade
complement.
side, but no wastelands on. Oh no. Okay, yeah, 4 wastelands each. Like you said, it boils
so
down to who's
Alfred going after the first land that Powerade lays. Powerade keeping the hand quite quickly. I assume he knows what Alfred's on, and so he's kept a very land heavy hand. As a result. Powerade, strangely enough, not playing his Delver on turn 1, presumably to play around a daze on his opponent's side of the table, because he has so many lands. And you see Alfred drawing one of the cards that's not so great in this matchup, which is Force of Will. It's better for Powerade because Powerade needs to keep things like Tamagoy off the table. And here you see the matchup. It's really they're gonna fight over cantrips, and they're gonna try and constrict each other on mana. This is a good situation for Alfred to play his days, because it means that he gets an extra land drop even if he misses on the brainstorm. And if he does hit a lot of lands, he can shuffle it away by putting the sea back. Or he can opt to play the wasteland on his opponent's volcanic. But really, anyone who lands and sticks a threat and threat survives in this matchup is usually favored. So I don't like this sequencing. I think Alfred can play this a little bit slower.
I think he can keep the fetch lands on top.
And
afford to draw a few lands because if you know what your opponent's playing, if you know what your opponent's.
No, I think it's fine. Like he's going the wasteland play.
Okay.
I think I would have gone with the fetch land and cleared the lands off the top of his deck, because now his hand is quite poor to any kind of threat, and now he put back spell pierce. Okay.
Okay,
So he put the extra the underground CA beneath the spell pierce. It's a tough spot. I think Alfred's thinking about going for the lightning bolt here to get rid of the Delver.
What does he need to be wary of?
He needs to be wary of daze. But his opponent hasn't played in a way that he has. It looks like he has daze.
Okay. All right.
Just do the usual.
Hey.
Just do the usual.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe if the condition is bad, you pass it the condition.
Okay. Multiply.
Yeah. Point 3.
Okay, so right now, I think Alfred might be actually going to try to bolt the.
Yeah, it certainly looks like he's gonna go to bolt. I think he's gonna be in the clear because his opponent doesn't have any way to interact, And Alfred, decent position, but still being a card down is rough in this
Mm.
matchup. And drawing Force of Will is not ideal.
Yeah, especially if you're mulligan down to 6.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're keeping a land heavy hand, or at least like there are more lands.
Well, his hand is not land heavy, but
Alright, so he just
He
decides
has
to pass
another-
the turn. Does he have a lightning bolt in hand?
he's gonna flip the Stifle.
Yes, he does.
And Albert can now choose to bolt before he draws the Stifle if he's worried about that.
Okay, so
But knowing about
let
the
it go,
Stifle is
yeah.
important. Interesting. So he's Barre of course choosing not to play his Ponder to look for another blue land to keep the Stifle up, choosing instead to go with just Stifle. So Alfred down to 16, still with the bolt in hand. Very interestingly,
Allows the ponder to resolve.
yeah, I'm
This
curious.
is- yeah. Alright.
And I'm
all
curious
cards,
about
yeah.
the sequencing of like power sequencing as well, because he chose to lay the wasteland and then ponder.
Yeah, So
So-
this happens on upkeep.
This happens on presumably
The draw
his
step.
draw
sorry,
step.
yeah,
which is quite poor because I think you see the reason not to do it,
exactly.
is that
he just drew
Alfred
a stifle in
just drew a
hand,
stifle.
which, yeah, can.
and then he's gonna fight over that. And you see, this is great because Alfred's kind of tricked his opponent into believing that the land is important, and
Yeah.
he's used his Force of Will. So Alfred can let this go
Mhm.
and replay a land, and then
cast
cast a lightning bolt.
a lightning bolt. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, on upkeep,
Interesting.
Yeah. So that was
Okay.
on upkeep. Alright, so
The Grixis Delver deck
Yeah.
has to be a little bit worried about losing all of its red sources though, because it's like effectively four colors, green for the Death Right activation.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't have as many volcanics as one less volcanic than the actual legacy deck, the Ruck deck.
Mm. Yeah. Should
Yeah,
make this a bigger pot.
I think we're in a good spot for the streaming today because we have don't have
Really?
that much competition. GP Taipei is not being covered, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. I feel like
Yeah.
more GPs should go and get coverage. Especially if
I think Helene wrote an article about how how
how
costly
to
it
just
is.
improve. Yeah, just
So,
there are
Barre
very inexpensive ways of
has-
doing.
Barre has another threat in Nimble Mongoose.
Oh, nice.
Stalling on land, so he can't play the Goif that's in his hand. I think this might give. I don't like this play from Alfred. I think there's so many of your cards right now that outclass
The Nimble Mongoose,
the Nimble
right?
Mongoose.
All right, so he's gonna
And
fight over the.
He's gonna fight over the. He's gonna fight, but Barre obviously fighting over it because he wants to get some kind of traction. Now, unfortunately, Alfred's hand is very very cold to a Tarmogoyf
Yeah.
without any resources to go with. So his best draw is probably Young Pyromancer or another blue card, I guess, to go with the Force of Will in his hand.
Mm.
But that just means that he's even further down the.
Yeah, he
the
doesn't
rabbit
really have-
hole,
oh, okay. So he's just gonna
against
pass
Barre.
without.
It's a perfect draw for
Uh,
Alfred. If he can successfully dodge his opponent's soft permission. So I think you lay the land here. And then you cast.
Do you want to cast
Oh,
a
interesting.
brainstorm?
I don't think
I think
he.
you can cast a brainstorm at end step. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
is in this case because
you
you just want to keep the
s-
best card in your hand and then just shuffle away everything else.
You see the folly of him. Oh, interesting. He's not going with the.
All right, so he's not going to try to force the.
I assume
Tarmogoyf,
Power is trying to play around the fact that his opponent has True Name Nemesis in his deck.
Okay.
So he's trying to catch him on the third land. And I think
okay.
he's in a great position here. He can crack the fetch and he should put the tropical on top of his deck. He should put the tropical on top of his deck.
So, that you
So if
can
he
draw
cracks
it,
the
yeah.
fetch and his opponent goes stifle, then he can natural the tropical and then play the Goif.
Mm. Well,
The board's obviously the worst card here, so that's the easy part.
Yeah, I don't think you should be worried about any other delvers coming through because if you are able to land your Goif,
Sure.
it'll be
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
bigger
yeah.
than the delver will ever be.
Yeah, I think Alfred's figured that out.
Alright,
it's
so
a
he
very
does put
very
the
good line
tropical
because then
on
it
top.
keeps the bolt on top of his deck, so that if his opponent has a Goif of his own,
he can just choose not to.
then because he's not going to shuffle from assuming the stifled fetch land.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know when Alfred's going to pull this trigger. He should pull the trigger now actually.
To
Yep.
Okay,
So,
so-
Barre is taking the bait.
all right, so stifle goes down and
Yeah, a little bit too quickly I think from Alfred. You should at least
like try to
mull.
ponder over
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah. But so
a little bit of theatre.
yeah, theatre is important.
Mm.
I think he needs to cast the Goy first. Yes.
Yes, cast the Goy first.
Yeah.
And geez, that Goy is big.
Yep.
Alright, he's just going to pass the turn. Probably doesn't have any red sources. I think he needs.
Yeah.
At this point, how big is the Goy? Let's count. 1, 2. It should be 5, 6 by now, right?
I think it's land, creature, instant,
Land,
sorcery.
creature, instant, sorcery.
There aren't any other cards in this matchup, I don't believe.
So that's 4,
Based
5.
on the deck list.
Okay, so yeah. 4, 5 can only be dealt with 2 lightning bolts, which I see he's got the second red source right now, but he's going to play his own Goyf, which I assume Alfred will try to take out.
Yeah. The beauty of having Bolt in this situation is that you can attack your Goyf into his Goyf. And he can't call your bluff effectively. The only problem for Alpha is that he's a little bit behind on the life total.
Which.
But the good thing is he has his own force of will up. So
does he?
He does. Because he didn't have to fight over the.
Alright, so he's gonna fire off a
Yeah.
ponder. Presumably look for another blue card.
He's drawing into some amount of abrupt
a ponder
decay.
and 2 lands. Abrupt decay, ponder, and tropical island.
So
Okay.
tapped in a way that I think makes a lot of sense, and I think with Alfred here is content to play the defensive game and
Mhm.
be able to decay and attack next turn.
Yeah.
Power on the other hand is disadvantage in this matchup. You can see why the Rock deck has fallen out of favor. It doesn't have access to some of the really, really good tools that Delver deck has to beat the other decks in the metagame, like Counterbalance. It doesn't have Abrupt Decay.
Okay. Alright.
And in general, just the cards have been outclassed, even though they've been, staples for such a long time.
Okay, but here we see the second Tamagotchi go down. Is that going to be a worry for
No, I
Alfred?
don't think Alfred's worried at all. I think Alfred is going to be able to attack here, play a bolt on one of the Goyfs and decay the other Goyf, and wiping Power's bolt
wiping, yeah.
completely. And by playing the bolt first, you have the opportunity of playing around any soft permission from Power. And
Yeah, exactly.
so
instead of,
as Power is the one who has got to show off his magic ability here. He's got to be able to demonstrate that he can infer what Alfred's hand is based on
based on what he's going
based on his attack.
Yeah.
The other option could very well be that Bowery takes the damage and then tries to raise Alfred,
Which I think would be a more
which you can then determine if that's the case
what
and you don't get blocks in this situation. You can play the ponder off the volcanic. Oh, he's just passing. This seems very passive play from. I think something that's often underrated in Legacy is the ability for decks to switch gears.
okay.
People
yeah.
don't. In general, I think.
Well, yeah, in general, like every matchup, especially if you're playing something like this, more in standard and modern.
Oh,
would
this
be
is so
like
good.
Mid,
He's just gonna block the Goyf.
okay, and
It takes 4.
4.
So yeah, they should update the thing. He's got a bolt here.
Alright, so he's
And
probably gonna
Alfred has
force
the
this one?
force.
Oh, okay, so force away the bolt.
Yeah. And you can see how Power Race cards get outclassed very quickly by
Alright,
Alfred's,
Alfred's one.
because his bolt's gonna be able to take out the and I guess it's just timing. Like superior card selection is very important in this matchup, and Power not having seen any brainstorms, hasn't had an opportunity to put his dazes back.
Okay.
So yeah,
I don't believe he's at 13, right?
I think he's at 8. He's at 9. Oh, Power top decking a ponder, but it might not be enough with a Goyf outsizing.
Yeah, I think you need to
yeah.
shuffle away all these cards.
He's going for
okay.
the flip the Delver and trade with the Goyf
Yeah, okay.
plan, I think,
Yeah.
which I think is okay. He's a little bit ahead in the life lead. And Alfred's going to be able to get in. I think Alfred top decks Force of Will.
Alright,
And if that's
so-
a land in his hand, I would probably lay the land. So I'm not sure if what his hand is. He's being very secretive.
I
So
was
yeah,
gonna take
Bowery
the-
threatening to raise. Oh, this is good.
This is interesting.
You should have.
It needs to. Well,
Yeah.
now he really needs to get rid of the Delver.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, he's. Yeah.
I think. Oh wow.
Okay.
Barre steals it.
Oh, cool. Nice. Nice one.
Yeah, I think Alfred just drew 2 blanks in a row, so
Mm.
that was quite unfortunate. But well
Yeah,
played on
but
Barre's part.
That's magic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So.
I think he
Grixis,
could have saved some damage by decaying on.
No, but like you said, I mean, they were playing around any form of spell pierce or.
The decay isn't counterable by spell pierce or.
Yeah, but if you play the decay first and then followed up by the lightning bolt might.
Sure.
Might be
Yeah,
countered.
yeah.
So,
But at least then you don't take the damage from the Goyf.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
your Goyf doesn't die because you get to force the.
you
you
still
get to
get to
force.
force the other
yeah.
lightning bolt.
Obviously, he had double days, but he doesn't know his opponent has double days.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a look at the sideboard here on Power Ray's side. He's got 2 Rough and Tumble, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Winter Orb, 1 Dismember, 2 Ancient Grudge, 1 True Name Nemesis, 1 Fluster Storm, a Graph Digger's Cage, Surgical Extraction. I was going to say surgical. Sulfur Elemental and a Pithing Needle. I think one of the best spells that you can bring in here probably the 2 Pyroblasts.
Is that for another customer?
2 Pyroblasts
You gotta check
and the True Name Nemesis as
Check
well
power
as
stop.
the Fluster Storm.
Yeah, they say modern playables.
Okay. So
Yeah. Then there's some Japanese ones, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this I think you can bring in the Pyroblasts, possibly the Dismember, the True Name Nemesis, and the Fluster Storm as well. He doesn't have a True Name Nemesis. on his main board.
I would go about this matchup completely differently. I would
Really?
bring in Rough and Tumble.
You bring in Rough and Tumble.
Yeah, Rough and Tumble is
Why?
very good against Deathrite Shaman, Young Pyromancer, and its tokens.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Alright.
Deathrite
But
Shaman is one
that's
of the best
you didn't
ways
see, Well, you didn't see either playing either person playing a Deathrite Shaman. This
Yeah, but you see
game.
the combination of the three different blue-based lands:
Mhm.
Volcanic, Underground Sea, and Tropical Island. So
It
you
should
have to
tip you
infer.
off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and your opponent having the rest of the Delver cards doesn't really change too much. I actually think there's a case for surgical extraction here. Yeah.
So you can get rid of once you get rid of one threat, you know just one card will eliminate a full set
Because
of
you're
threats.
very soft to something like True Name Nemesis.
Oh yeah, man.
You have to go very far around it. On Power Ray's side of the board, I think he has
Not
a very Alfred.
Alfred's side of the
Okay,
board,
on
yeah.
Alfred's side of the table, I think he has access to Golgari Charm is not bad. He probably wants to bring in his Fire Covenant, his Submerge, and quite possibly his Life from the Loam, and also the Jite.
Okay. Wow, a GT. That is
Yeah, because he can connect on it. If he can connect with a True Name Nemesis. So the aim is to become the bigger control deck. So don't play the small spells.
okay.
And you can see Power Ray's approach, and see Power Ray's quite seasoned with this matchup. He's siding out his Force of Wills, which, as you saw,
Well, I
are
don't think-
horrible
Yeah, it
in-
doesn't gain you that much advantage.
the cards
Your
are so
Pyroblast-
similar anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Your Pyroblast, I think, do a better job at.
They cover you against
getting-
the True Names that you had in game 1,
Yep.
but they don't cover you against your opponent's Goyfs and or Jites. So he's gonna be in for a little bit of a shock if his opponent gets to connect. Yeah, you see him he's bought out 2 Ponders, which I think is kind of loose. In this matchup, I usually like to side out on Power Ray's side. I side out the Nimble Monkeys and go purely with Goyfs and Delvers.
Is that really the plural for mongoose?
Mongoose.
Mongoose.
You can log into LSV's account and ask him what he thinks the plural of mongoose is.
Mongooses.
Mongoose. But yeah, I think both players demonstrating they understand what the matchup is about and coming
Yeah.
prepared.
Both decks actually operating similarly, but I think both decks could not be any more different.
Post board, you mean?
Yeah, post board. Yeah, I think the 4-color Delver deck is, Alfred's deck is probably favored in this matchup. Yeah, it's got more threats hitting the board.
Yeah, but I think you
And
see the appeal of the ruck deck as well, which is that being favored doesn't matter if you don't have enough life total.
That's true,
You don't have enough
yeah.
life to kind of last. Power also probably bringing in the Dismember, so he has a one main deck answer to a Resolve Goif.
yeah.
And you see that the game is the matchup plays like the games are games decided by very very small advantages.
Mm-hmm.
2 extra life points on Alfred's side of the table,
Would have,
he probably would have won.
Yeah.
1 extra card on Alfred's side of the table, he probably would have won as well, since he could have had the blue card to force the Delver or the
Yeah.
bolt that came off the top. So yeah, very very marginal. And all those early card selection choices you make, they make a large difference. So yeah,
I've always said that you win the game off your top 7 cards or the first 7 cards, and that's
someone's
in
Facebook.
Legacy.
Someone's Facebook.
Whose Facebook is going off?
Someone's trying to call someone on Facebook.
Okay, well, it can't be my phone. I put it on. My phone's over there.
I actually think it's I actually think it's Mark, because it's the store computer. And for those of you who don't know, Mark is always famously logged in, and I post random things.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Like I like to touch Ben's butt and that kind of stuff.
You do?
So no, I mean, well, Mark claims that he likes to touch
I
my
suppose
butt.
you
Yeah.
also like to touch your own butt, right?
Yeah, I had
Just
every day I had to
scratchy,
wash.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the German coach. So Alfred keeping his 7. I think you see him. He's brought in the Fluster Storm. Is that a
Does
Fluster
Alfred have
Storm?
a Fluster Storm in his
I
sideboard?
believe so. No,
One
yeah,
Fluster
one
Storm. He's one off Fluster Storm.
And I think
Very
that's
nice.
a bit loose. I think you in this matchup especially, you don't want like situational cards like that. I think he's worried about possible life from the Loma of his opponent's deck, which, if that's the case, then Surgical Extraction is probably the
One of the
better
cards, yeah.
solution
Yeah.
to that. Sometimes there's a tendency to oversight board. You end up diluting your deck a little because you think that I need to
play against
yeah.
your opponent better.
Yeah.
But sometimes it does backfire.
He's kept the Stifles. So I'm not sure about the Stifles, especially the way that I think Alfred wants this game to play out. But maybe he's got a plan, right? Because if you're the bigger kind of control deck, then you definitely don't want.
I don't agree that
situational
Alfred will be the bigger control deck. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Pauri will be the fact that he's drawing. He's on the draw. He's the one who's going to be trying to control the pace of play here. It also depends on like who's drawing what and your opening 6 cards.
I mean, you look at Alfred's hand and you think, what kind of what non-control oriented line does he take to win this game?
And it does
he
not
doesn't
look
have
good.
anything to go.
Exactly. Alright, so Alfred starts off with a Misty Rainforest and just passes the turn. Let's see.
And this is risky. Like he has the opportunity he had the opportunity to have a Stifle free land, but instead he chose to play into Power Stifles. He could be on the read that his opponent has sided out his Stifles, which is very very possible. And a fair position to be in. And Alfred, I think, drew his 1-off life from the loam. So if you're Alfred here, do you crack again and go for life on the?
I think, if you want to play around the Surgical Extraction, maybe you don't play the life.
Oh
from the
no,
loam.
he's gonna go with a
So he's gonna go for a
brainstorm,
brainstorm.
which I think is quite poor. I think you brainstorm is like kung fu. You never want to cast brainstorm until you really need to cast brainstorm.
The information that you get off brainstorm, like 3 cards, is very important, especially if you have ways to manipulate the top of your library, in the form of, let's say, fetch lands. I think, you just want to wait until you make sure that
I see. He's pushing another brainstorm away, which is kind of silly. With life from the loam, you have just an insane interaction. You can life from the loam back the cards, life from the loam back the lands, and then play them.
keep going,
Cast brainstorm, put them back in the deck, and then keep going from there.
Yeah.
So I just don't like. I don't like the way Alfred's kind of started this hand, and especially since he has a bolt, he can just quite easily shuffle the bolt away.
Okay, Alfred here actually on 19. Both players actually on 19. We need to
Yeah.
update
So
the
Alfred,
total.
conveniently forgetting his own life total.
So cute.
But I think he's indicated on his.
Yeah, he's got they've got their own life counters.
Yeah. This might not be entirely accurate, but it
Mhm.
is definitely 19 to 19.
Yeah, we'll keep you updated. I'm currently trying to keep track. Yeah, okay.
So Paure with the crack fetch, interestingly enough, and Alfred still with the stifle in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is
I'm
Alfred
curious.
waiting for him to crack the other fetch?
Yeah, but in this position now, he's opened up his stifle to red elemental blast.
Yeah, which Paure does have in hand.
But it might be okay, given that he has
Is it red elemental blast or pyroblast?
pyroblast. Yeah, same
Oh, the
effect.
same effect, right?
Yeah.
Why did they even reprint
So
that?
he's shuffling away the brainstorm on top of his deck, which to me is just such a poor choice as opposed to the lightning bolt, which is doing absolutely nothing in his hand. And that's a problem that players have. They lost to Delver because the last game because he didn't have a bolt, so he over prioritizes.
Yeah, you have the fear of.
You look at the lands that he's fetching. He doesn't need the bolt. He doesn't have the mana to cast the bolt. And if he did have the mana to resolve the life and the loam that's in his hand, wouldn't the brainstorm be infinitely better than the?
Yeah, but he's got another brainstorm in hand. Which,
yeah, sure. But there's you can find any number of bolts or removal spells post loam brainstorm activation.
True.
You don't need to keep the bolt, and there's nothing on the table that you need to answer right now. So it is literally a dead card, and you might even see him shuffle it away.
All right. Okay. So
here, stifle resolving on the no.
Okay, so
we're still with the fetch
resolve.
activation on the stack.
Yep.
Paure is going to be able to pyroblast and find his second mana source, but this means that he won't be able to play Goyf this turn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's drawn an important card out of his opponent's hand,
which is
the pyroblast.
Yeah.
And Paure has the Delver.
Unfortunately, I think Alfred, does he have a fetch land in hand?
He has a life from the loam and a fetch.
So, yeah, alright.
So what Alfred can do is cast life from the loam without laying the land first.
Yeah.
So his opponent thinks that daze is important, and then from then on lay the land and then cast the lightning bolt.
Yeah, I think
because if
from loam, right?
if his opponent has daze, then this must be a very tempting position.
That's the thing. It might seem okay. So I think to the people watching at home, like it might seem unintuitive that you are not cracking your fetch so that you can get the most value out of your life from a loam. But the way that you're playing this game should be such that you're making the most optimal plays for the long game. Because
I don't think the extra land is gonna be a difference.
Exactly. Your objective now. Well. This is very interesting because
so he's fetching now as opposed to baiting with the life from the loam. So I assume he's prioritizing his life total over his opponent's ability to win the long game with his mana denial strategy.
Yep.
Paure does have his surgical extraction that Alfred doesn't know about. Which is why Gitaxian Probe is a card that's really surprisingly good in this matchup.
Really?
Yeah, because you have the information, you know what kind of soft permission you have to play around, what kind of and it's quite cost free. It doesn't cost you anything to play it. So
going for the
Alfred going with Deathrite Shaman.
Very legit threat on its
own.
own.
And you see Paure's hand. And this is the problem with oversight boarding, right? Like your hand is so defensive. It has so many answers, but you don't really have any threats going forward. And you can imagine, you look at Alfred's hand of double Goyf, and Paure is not gonna do too well against that setup. I agree with your play last turn that you should have tried to life from the loam to get back those two lands, which will probably be met with, let's say, a surgical extraction. Sure. I mean, even if he doesn't even if he has a surgical extraction, that's fine.
At least you bait out the removal.
Yeah, and you got two lands on top of the deal.
Exactly.
Which you could then brainstorm away had you had a brainstorm.
Okay, so Lightning Bolt.
Lightning Bolt takes care of the Deathrite Shaman. And he has his own Goyf.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. But Alfred fishing for days here.
Does he have one? Yeah.
Nope. He has the same Flusterstorm that he sided in.
It's unfortunate. Mana.
Very unfortunate. So this is where sideboarding is an issue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, oh, look at that. Look at his hand. His hand just does nothing against his opponent's side of the table.
Okay, so he's gonna put the
Yeah.
Stifle and what was the other card that he put on top of the deck?
He put, I think, Stifle and Flusterstorm.
Okay. Alright, so he's gonna draw the
He's going to draw the Flusterstorm,
okay,
obviously,
and,
to be able to
probably
fight over the Goyf that he's going to resolve.
Yeah.
But you can see how, like, the way Alfred has played this has meant that his opponent has, and that's quite poor. He should tap the Underground Sea, yes, to represent Lightning Bolt. The way he's played this, he's not made use of his Life in the Loam at all. Had he cast a Life in the Loam last turn, Power might have had to interact, might have had to pay some life to the Surgical Extraction to get rid of it. There's a lot more nuances to this, and as a result, I think Alfred is in a position where a lot of his sideboard cards are not going to be doing anything. He is going to be able to resolve life from the Loam next turn, but I think all the fetch lands in the world aren't as great without Brainstorm.
Yeah, that's true.
So going back to our criticism of his earlier
is this somewhere in Asia?
Earlier play.
Tun Down.
I think.
Do you know him?
I think
Yes, this is
I
somewhere
recognize the
in
name
Asia.
from a vintage forum or like a legacy forum.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
This is in.
I think he plays a lot of miracles. This is in Singapore. We are
83 Club Street. If you're
if you're ever in Singapore,
we are.
You're proud to call ourselves, one of Singapore's only
Singapore's only
streaming store, as well as podcast.
We don't want to do the coverage.
Yeah.
We don't want to do the podcast. Although,
so you have Needle, and I think
what would Needle name here?
Needle can name Scalding Tarn because of the way Alfred's graveyard is set up.
Okay, so he's going to
in response to the activation of the Scalding Tarn. So Alfred played this pretty well. Broadway plays pretty well. He plays a Needle to force the action on the Tarn, and in response to the Tarn activation, he gets the Surgical away the Volcanic Island. And like we said, without access to red and being able to play your Young Pyromancers, the deck is somewhat handicapped. The only problem is that being a Grixis deck, Alfred does have access to to Deathrite Shaman, so that's still going to be able to produce red mana should that come up. But yeah, definitely well sequenced from Power's side of the table. And this is magic, right? Like you play to your outs and you play to maximize your chances of winning in a given situation.
I think very smart player. Well, I wouldn't have seen this line myself. Although Wasteland leading off the.
I think he gets value on it anyway because
and right now, even if he right now the Pitting Needle has not resolved yet, which means that
he gets to name something else, like Deathrite Shaman.
Maybe not Deathrite Shaman, but the other two lands, because the other two fetch lands.
Why does it matter what other fetch lands?
Because he knows that in his opponent's hand he has Life from Loam. Yeah, but the only red sources here are the Tropical Islands. Yeah. I think.
What are you talking about? Tropical Islands don't produce red.
Sorry, not Tropical
Volcanic
Islands.
Islands.
Volcanic Islands.
Yeah, but I said the Deathrite Shamans produce red mana.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so he should name the Deathrite Shaman. He should name the Deathrite Shaman because even if he names Scalding Tarn, his opponent's just going to take back the other fetch land in his graveyard, which is Misty Rainforest.
Other red sources.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I mean, it should be Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, Deathrite Shaman is a bigger threat. So
yeah. So I think we need to tell the players that if they cast Pitting Needle and stuff like that, they should probably just tell us, like write a little note to us, or write on the paper and just show it to the camera that is what it is naming. But I guess it's also kind of fun to be able to infer.
Try to figure out this puzzle.
Yeah, figure out the puzzle. So Power at I hope the live totals are up to date. But it looks it seems fair. Alfred has cracked a lot more fetches. What is probably going to be a blowout for Alfred is if he draws any of his wastelands, because then he can start working on Power's mana base, and with Power out of his single Surgical Extraction, he won't be able to interact with the Life from the Loam Wasteland engine, and with Goyf holding it back and the access to Erupt Decay, he doesn't have too many outs. But we'll see. Yeah,
do any of the decks in Legacy run Snapcaster Mage? This is something that I'm quite curious about.
I think Miracles is probably the largest proponent of that card. You see him returning three fetches, 2 Misties and 1 Scalding Tarn.
But a lot of value
Alfred
there.
top decking his Lightning Bolt top decking lightning bolt for the turn, which makes
Combat gonna be
his the previous turns
yeah.
play quite rough. He's gonna block with his Goyf, because they just bounce off each other, having one power less than their toughness. But Alfred unable to punish with his
lightning bolt.
lightning bolt. Drawing one of the brainstorms that he shuffled away, so that's
Thank
pretty
goodness.
good. Choosing not to dredge Life in the Loam, which I think is the right play, because this is now a situation where you want to dredge Life in the Loam the turn after this, where you put the lands back. And being able, I think it's erroneous for him to put the bolts back unless the Pitting Needle is on Ancient Grudge, or on Pitting Needles on Deathrite Shaman. But you can actually play the Deathrite Shaman here and use it to double block the Goyf.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he keeps one Deathrite Shaman. If I'm Alfred, I put some lands back. It does look like he put one land back. If I'm Alfred, I would have been tempted to put both lands back.
Really? What?
Yeah, just get more traction with your because you put both the lands back. You don't have to crack your fetches. You just dredge Life from the Loam next turn.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and then you definitely hit lands off the Life from the Loam. You keep cards in your real
you
cards.
can
Because they're not going to be that many lands left in your deck. Because Delver deck's 18 lands.
Exactly.
You can only fetch so many times before you run out of things you can fetch, and you're just trying your best to find Wasteland.
Nimble Mongoose here.
So Nimble Mongoose usually a great card. Usually a bad match. Usually poorly matched up against Deathrite Shaman. But in this scenario, doing pretty well. Choosing the draw instead of dredging. Well, it's easy when you just draw Brainstorm all the time.
Of course. Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
But I probably wouldn't cast Brainstorm here. I probably wait to dredge next turn.
Yeah.
But this is the world we live in. He's obviously not listening to me.
No. You have your own opinion.
I just think that this is very poor. One of the best ways. So you're at the point where you can control the you can control the contents of your deck. With the combination of Brainstorm and Life from the Loam, something that maybe people haven't played as much with, and as a result are not as familiar with the interactions. But being able to control the contents of your deck and what you put back and what you eventually dredge away, and then increases your ability to draw your outs to what's currently on the board. And I think a lot of players just play based on what's in front of them. Right, they play what they have in their hand. They play what's in their what's in play.
Yeah, you forget what's in your deck. I mean, like you tend to have oversight of like what you can actually.
But you have no excuse to forget because you can just crack your fetches and look,
then just go
right.
through your deck, right?
Like for example, I think there's probably only one more Underground Sea in Alfred's deck.
Let's take a look. Alfred's deck. Yeah, there's one. 2 Underground Seas, 2 Volcanic Islands, 2 Tropical Islands. Yeah.
Having that extra fetch land in his hand doesn't actually do anything. There's nothing he can fetch with that fetch land. So I really don't like this play at all.
Right, so you're just going to fetch it away.
Yeah, and fetching to me is poor.
He had the 2. That's the thing. He had 2 lightning bolts in hand.
Yeah, you can just dredge them away with the Life from the Loam.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, you can.
The
lightning bolts. The lightning bolts are actually relevant now since the Deathrite Shaman can tap for mana.
They can't tap for mana. I assume the reason why he hasn't activated Deathrite Shaman is because the Pitting Needles on Deathrite Shaman.
Okay.
Yeah. So Deathrite Shaman, interestingly worded enough such that it can't produce mana.
Unless
yeah.
It's not
because it's not a strict
not
mana ability.
Exactly,
so
it's an activator ability.
Yeah. So now he has the dead Scouting Town in his hand, but he draws Decay, which is great because you can just decay your opponent's Goyf and get in to the face. Instead, Alfred going for the super greedy play. He's attacking, hoping his opponent double blocks, so he can decay the Goyf and then kill the Nimble Mongoose as a result.
Well, Power
which makes a lot of sense because
it just blocks. Alright.
And so bluff failed.
Bluff still.
Yeah, I think it's so obvious, right? Like your opponent has no access to any kind of red mana. It seems like
it is very interesting.
So the thing about bluffs is that you have to put your opponent into a position where they have value to call, right? Like there is a reason for them to call it, and that reason is valuable enough for them. right?
Well-
So trying to bluff 2 points of damage early in the game is good
It's
because
good, yeah, exactly.
you know-
because like 2 points of damage might actually,
yeah.
do-
There's no value for your opponent if he loses his creature blocking.
Exactly.
So he's willing to take the 2 points of damage there.
But right now, I think
Right now
to
here
make
he
sure
has
that
a fizzle attack, which means that he's
no,
forced
the attack. I don't think the attack has resolved yet.
he's forced
I don't
to play the decay when his opponent attacks back.
No, I have a feeling you have to play your decay like right now before damage. I don't think damage has resolved yet, right?
Yeah, but what
Well,
good
yeah.
does he gain from
No, if
playing
you
the decay
have a
now?
lightning bolt in your. Alright, okay, so he just chooses to
Sure.
crack.
And this is why he should have kept the lightning bolts in his hand. You see, he can decay the pitting needle now.
Exactly, and then
Yeah.
after that
So
go lightning
why
bolt.
why attack? I feel like this is
Oh,
such
well.
poor play from Alfred and sequencing in general the past like 5 turns. I guess. So he's
Right,
attacking
so-
here, and now
Back on the mongoose.
yeah, he's in a bit of a tough position. He can probably fall to 4, decay the needle, and then eat
start getting
and then
some
eat
life.
a
Yeah.
creature in one of the yards, meaning that if he is a creature in the yard, then he reduces the goif, so he goes to 5. He goes to 7.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, depends on.
I
what's in
think
the yard,
I
yeah.
think that would be, but killing the needle in combat is poor because it means that
Yeah.
you add an artifact to the graveyard.
Just take some damage. It's okay. I think. it's
Yeah,
fine.
I think so long as you're out of single bolt range, it's fine.
Yeah.
So and especially with a Flusterstorm in his hand next turn, presumably.
He should be able to protect himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't know. And Power drawing Wasteland for his turn.
Double wasteland? No.
Yeah.
Okay, so Scouting Town and wasteland. I think you should go off on the wasteland first. That would definitely restrict.
I
how
could
much
see
mana you
Power's reasoning to not play the
to not-
Wasteland.
Yeah,
'Cause-
get the extra red sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, get an extra red source. Be able to draw a brainstorm next turn. Be able to brainstorm away your Wasteland and another card to get double red to kill your opponent.
Okay.
He's
So
eating his
Alfred-
opponent's
Alfred's
creature.
at 6, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alfred's at 6 and slowly, running away with this game. It would be a lot easier if he had those bolts.
Yeah.
But I think he's still okay. Especially if
Does
he
he have any
finds
amount-
lightning bolt Wasteland here.
Alright, so he's got second Abrupt Decay in his deck, which I think you should be trying to fish out.
Yeah.
Did he spend?
So you see he brought
this is
in,
the only this is the first Abrupt Decay that we saw, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
see he's brought in Vendilion Click,
Okay.
which is a decent answer to, along with a Flusterstorm, a decent answer to
Yeah,
the Mongoose.
Mm-hmm.
He also has Lightning Bolt, so Lightning Bolt also very, very solid in terms of Goif combat.
Damn. Okay, so he leaves both.
Yeah, he leaves both up,
Leaves
which
both up, yeah.
seems
It's fine. That's good.
it's good. I mean, he can then meaningfully interact with. I don't like the laying of the Scouting Town there, especially since it doesn't get anything.
Well, you can shuffle your deck, right?
Yeah, but you want the cards on top of your deck, right? Like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah. And if you
have
ever
seen
needed
the
to shuffle your
lightning
deck, there's a card in your graveyard that helps you do that. It's called Life from the Loam. It mills the bad cards away. It's
right,
it's
right,
better than
okay.
shuffling. It puts it in the graveyard. It puts it in a place where you can never draw them again.
bolt.
So, yeah, I think. But yeah. Okay, I think he's gonna be able to cover his opponent's draw step with a Vendilion Click,
Click, yeah.
which is great.
That will prevent his Nimble Mongoose from attacking further.
Yeah, he's gonna click in his
so-
draw step, and oh wow, Power
Oh,
drawing the perfect
The
brainstorm.
answer.
So if he's able to find 2 bolts here, Alfred is just Alfred's not dead because he's got the
no,
Flusterstorm.
yeah, he's still got.
Actually, Alfred can
Does
Flusterstorm.
he? No, but he does not have any more lands.
He has the Deathrite Shaman in play,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
so he's gonna be able to put cards back. And then this is, I think Power has
Did he
played
draw?
this game
Oh.
pretty well. He's gonna be able to put the days on top of his deck.
Mm-hmm.
And he cracked his fetch. Oh, that seems odd. Oh, because he knew the cards on top of his he knew the cards on top of his deck. That's odd. Because he could have put the days back, flipped both the Delvers, and then cracked the fetch in his upkeep. But here he's chosen to. Maybe he was fishing for his opponent's hand. He fished at the end of the turn to see if his opponent still had a stifle.
Okay.
But that to me seems quite lackluster. Yeah, and Power is going to be able to run. So Power can put. If I'm him, I put Delver and Daze back. Delver on top. So Alfred goes, okay, take your Delver with
And
the click,
then-
and then you draw the second. You draw the
And
second
you draw
Delver. Then you have the Daze up.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, Daze is going to be nothing more than being able to flip your lands, flip your Delver for you right now.
Well, this
We're up
in
to the
response
13
is-
viewers. Thank you for watching. I know LSV is streaming, so that
Is he
usually
streaming today?
he's it's a bit of a center of gravity.
Oh, damn
He has more
USD.
followers, more viewers than SCG.
SCG, the Dallas Open.
Yeah. So
Well,
I appreciate all the support that we're getting from you guys. And yeah, we are store based out of Singapore. We run a lot of Eternal events. That's kind of our thing. Yeah, we also do the only coverage in Singapore at all.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely check us out and our friends at Power 9 Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
While we're waiting for Power Ray to decide one of the most complex spells of all time, Brainstorm.
If you're wondering, the left side is not on pause. Sorry, the right side of the screen is not on pause.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
moving.
thinking,
They're moving, Mick, so it's
like-
okay. Yeah, people can tell. Hopefully.
Well, sometimes we go into like Matrix mode where you see like just it becomes a slideshow.
A slideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Power Ray's been in this position for like 5 minutes. So.
He's in that loop. Okay, so right now, a judge should walk over and like just tell Power Ray like you are in the loop. Okay, so he keeps the daze and stifle.
Like you stifle and daze.
Alright, so he's gonna try.
So he's gonna daze he's gonna be able to stifle the Deathrite Shaman activation.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting. So Alfred, I think thinking about what he wants to do here, worried about perhaps the possibility of double daze. So he's thinking about Flusterstorming. No, that's poor anyway.
Yeah. No,
So I think
leave
just gonna
it's
let
fine.
it go. Okay. I see what Power Ray's thoughts are here. But Power Ray is drawing very, very thin. Very, very thin. If I'm Power Ray, yeah. Okay. I see what he's trying to do. Yeah, and it's correct to let the days resolve because then Power Ray can attack profitably into a board of Goyf and Deathrite because Deathrite can then double up with the Goyf to block. If need be.
Coin, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think Power Ray has Stifle in his hand. So
Yeah.
Power Ray is going to try to get in the last 3 points of damage. But it's so poor because he's put back 2 cards and he can't shuffle it away from the top of his deck. Which is why, yeah, crashing in here.
so he's just gonna bash in.
Threatening to, yeah. Oh wow, this is very aggressive.
Could you just block the Nimble Mongoose and leave the Goyf behind?
I think given Alfred's position, you can. Yeah, that's something that you can do.
Yeah, well,
but then you're
that's the
called-
thing. We know the information. We know all the
Yeah,
information.
you're
right?
called to
So,
submerge. So as Alfred, I think he's gonna go down to 1
leaving him in bolt range
because he believes that he has the bolt covered with the Flusterstorm in his hand.
Yeah.
And so what's going to be interesting is the next turn where he goes up to 3, but that's still not enough. Still not enough for... Who's bumped into the camera?
Something, yeah. No, the table moved.
Oh, okay.
The camera did not move.
So he's going to play a second Goyf here.
Okay.
And he's going to be able to attack with his Goyf. And
Wouldn't that be a bit risky?
risky, how so?
Well,
Like
no,
loses
yeah,
the
you've got-
submerge.
yeah.
He's got a Flusterstorm to cover most things. And Alfred should probably gain life in his opponent's upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's got a Delver here.
The Delver's going to see, I think, land right on top of the deck. So he's going to try.
Yeah,
to
I think it's
activate-
gonna be a wasteland because we know that from.
Yeah.
So he's gonna go up to 3 with the Deathrite activation and no
Right.
Stifle and Deathrite activation.
Mm.
And I think attacking here would be poor. It would be tantamount to trading Goyf for
For Delver.
unless okay, interesting. Unless Alfred can change the contents of the graveyard to remove 1 card type after combat.
No, but that
he draws the bolt, and that's the reason
Yeah,
why
yeah.
he attacks. And I think
So
now Alfred has to
maybe-
decide if he can afford to bolt the Goyf.
I'll just wait for the Delver.
Actually, if I'm Alfred, I
I'll
doubt.
just pass.
No, I
No?
attack with both creatures. I attack with both creatures. If my opponent doesn't blocks only one of them with the Goyf, he takes 5 and I just bolt him to the face. he's dead.
Okay,
You know,
that's right.
If he blocks both, then I get to eat the double for free and I get to bolt the Goyf.
Exactly, and you have your Flusterstorm like covering the Goyf.
Yeah. So here I think very poor, but I think Barre actually blocked. Now he has Wasteland. Wasteland doesn't do too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think Barre is going to lose this game, which means that they're going to go to a round 3 that doesn't exist. A game 3 that doesn't exist. So I'm going to go ahead and try and discuss that with them.
All right. So yeah, we're heading down to the last stretch. What?
When do you start the time? When they start playing or?
Yeah. No, when we start the recording.
So when we started the recording.
Yeah. So by the timer is like minus 1 minute now. Okay. So they've been called. Time has been called already. So yeah. All right. Yeah, we're both gonna go down on the Delver. And I think that might be the end of the game. Alright, so turn 1 on Alfred. He's got a Delver, he's got a Flusterstorm. The Flusterstorm protecting... Flusterstorm and a Daze. You'll be able to protect practically anything. Oh, sorry, it's another Tarmogoyf. Right. So this game will actually go to Alfred. The fact that he's got... Well, unless... Power is playing Maelstrom Pulse, which I doubt it. The fact that he doesn't have black. Happily passing the turn. So yeah.
So they're on extra turns.
Yeah, they're on extra turns, but yeah.
So I think
3 Goyfs, I think
an overwhelming advantage for Alfred, and I don't know if he's gonna do the gentlemanly thing and scoop him in. But I think in a 6-round tournament with a lower number of players, 30 players,
I think it's fine to draw.
Yeah, it's fine to draw. Game, you're gonna have you probably take a draw at some point.
Yeah, you can get in on. Well, we're gonna play 5 rounds today.
6 rounds.
6 rounds.
So you can still go X1.
Yeah. For 4x actually, I think you should be able to get in.
4x.
Sorry, 4-2. X2.
But he's got a draw already.
Exactly. So yeah, even on a 4-2, you should be able to get in.
But if a draw, how do you get in with 4-2?
I'm saying anybody else who has lost the tournament. Ben, stick with me.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? No, I'm talking sense, man. I'm talking math. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for
watching.
We're going to go to round
very
2.
grueling match.
In a little bit, so don't go away. We're just gonna cut away to we're just gonna cut away to some stuff that we're running this month. But before we go, let me remind you that we do other shows during the week: Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evening, 8 p.m. Singapore time. On Tuesday we do the SCG game night, which is our weekly standard tournament, 3 rounds. Wednesday night we do More Than Modern, which as the name suggests it's modern, and on Thursday we do the Throwback Thursdays, which is our vintage playtest night. We also do tournaments on the weekend. We also do tournaments on the weekend like this. And if you want to keep yourself updated, make sure you follow us on Facebook. And if you want to watch all the previous replays, just go down to YouTube. And do pay our partners a little bit of love. The Power 9 podcast, they are here hosting the tournament, or at least broadcasting the tournament. So yeah, do go listen to their podcast. This week's episode is on gaming addiction. So yeah, very interesting episode that we did with Mr. James Su, who is the author of Magic the Addiction. So yeah, don't go away. We'll be right back. Make sure that you keep it tuned here on the Grey Ogre Games channel.